Taxation is theft. Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lite, and this video is all about taxation. How are you going to be taxed on all of your cryptocurrency investments? When you get paid out from Hextra Coin and from Daver Coin every day, how are you going to handle that? Is it going to be taxed? Do you have to tell the IRS or your government about that? I'm going to go through all the countries that I know of and how they tax cryptocurrency investments and income, and I'll show you the differences between all of them. And then I have a lot of details about how the IRS handles cryptocurrency investments. So if you're American, stay tuned for that. I'll cover that near the end of it. But first off, if you're not familiar with my channel, I'm Lite. This is my YouTube channel, and I usually do discussions about ICOs. I'll do reviews on ICOs and lending programs, coins, anything related to cryptocurrencies. So make sure you're subscribed and and hit that bell button, because you'll get notified when a new video comes out. I usually put a new video out every day or two. And yeah, so let's get into the taxation. So in the description of this video, there's a link to my master spreadsheet here. And a lot of different things down here that you can go to. If you go to the very end, there's a new tab called Taxation, and I've outlined, this is kind of a summary of some major countries and what they've done with taxation and how it's handled in that country. And so I probably shouldn't go through this, take up all your time on this, but you can go to it and check it out. Let's see. First off, I'm not a lawyer and I'm not an accountant, so do your own due diligence. This is just a quick summary of how it's treated in your country and a comparison between the countries and how they treat it. And I have a freedom score here. Which countries are the freest? And I thought that was pretty neat to have, because if anyone wants to expatriate from their country that isn't very free, which countries would you want to go to? And the ones in the green are the ones you'd probably want to go to. So that's kind of cool. Also, most countries in the world, as you can see here, I've written this here, the predominant international trend is to regulate cryptocurrencies as if they were property and assets. So they would be taxed according to that country's tax laws on property and assets. So that's the majority view around the world. Now, Italy, there's no taxation at all on cryptocurrencies, so that's pretty awesome. And Belarus, they've just instituted a 5-year tax moratorium on cryptocurrency investments and companies that deal in it. There's no taxes for them at all, and that is very forward thinking. If you guys ever go to my Facebook page, you guys should join here. I put a lot of news items related to cryptocurrencies, whatever comes up during the day, some important things. And there's a pretty cool article. You guys should check this out. So they talk about why they're doing this and what they've done. So that basically the leader, I can't remember if he's a president or prime minister. I think he's a president. Basically says, you know what, we want people to invest in our country. We want ICOs to start up. We want entrepreneurs to come here and invest in our country. We want that money coming into our country, so we're not going to tax it. And that's huge. I mean, that's the way forward. That's what a lot of countries should be doing. A lot of people are going to be starting up ICOs there. I can see for sure. Switzerland doesn't look like it's taxed, from what I can tell. It's considered as a foreign currency, and most people in Switzerland do not get taxed on capital gains. There's no capital gains tax for them, so it doesn't appear that there's taxes for them. Mexico, they're still working on legislation. In Brazil, it's considered an asset, and it's 15% capital gains, which is actually a low tax considering a lot of these other countries, it's around 30 to 40 or even more. And so I put in the 4 as a 4. Netherlands considers it as a barter item, so similar to if you're at a flea market and you barter with someone, there's no real taxable event there. So I don't it doesn't appear to be taxable, but you guys can look into that some more. Russia, there isn't any laws, but Putin has said that he's asked the Russian Duma, which is their legislature, to draft something up. And just before I go further, if there's any countries here that you want me to add to the list, and if you know the details about them, let me know and I'll add them to the list so that everyone is aware of these things. So that would be cool. And then in the middle here is kind of like the middle ground of the average of what all the countries are doing. I'm in Canada, and I've spoken with my accountant, and what he's told me is that it's considered a capital gain only when you convert it into Canadian dollars or fiat currency. So if you do trading, if you're trading every day, if you buy Ripple, buy Verge, whatever, then not a big deal. They don't care. They only care when you actually want to buy something. So for me, I've got a BitPay card. I'm just going to hide the number. It doesn't even work. The card doesn't even work in Canada anymore. They've discontinued them in Canada for whatever reason. And if you have another credit card that you fill with cryptocurrencies and you buy a drink at 7-Eleven or whatever, that's a taxable event. So you'll have to keep track of that. So you have to keep track of how much you've bought in Coinbase or wherever you buy it, like how much you've spent or how much you've converted from Canadian dollars to cryptocurrencies, and then how much you've taken out. And that's considered a gain for a capital gain. So a lot of these countries are very similar. Australia seems very similar as well. They used to do a double tax with GST and then capital gains. Yeah, a lot of these are very similar. UK and Germany are very similar. It's you don't get charged the VAT fees, and then capital gains up to it's free capital gain up to €800. After that, it's 25% capital gain. So that's decent, I guess. 25% is actually a lot. Okay, and then there's China. They had those restrictions on the ICOs and the exchanges. It's definitely a 2. Thailand, they had numerous restrictions. It was even illegal in 2013. 2014, they re-enabled it, re-allowed it, but there's still restrictions and the government's kind of afraid of it. Bolivia, they've banned it. Crazy. They don't get any income coming into their country from cryptocurrencies. What a horrible decision. That's like the opposite of what we saw with Belarus. Just ridiculous. It's going to hurt their citizens. Probably very socialistic government down there. Probably similar to Venezuela. Actually, I should add Venezuela to this list. And I will be adding more to this list. I don't know if I've said that yet or not, but I'm going to be adding more. So United States. So they just released a new budget. And they've said it's basically, it's considered a capital gain for the most part. Everything is now a taxable event in the US. And if you buy Ripple with Bitcoin, if you swap, that's a taxable event. If you use your BitPay card, then that's a taxable event as well. If you use any kind of credit card with it. So any event with cryptocurrencies is taxable. If you're in Hextracoin or Dabercoin and you get paid out every day, you get taxed on that. You're supposed to report it. It is going to be ridiculous. I don't know how people are going to report this stuff. And good luck to you if you are in the United States. I anticipate a lot of people are going to be hiding their cryptocurrencies from the government, or trying to. Although the IRS can really go after these exchanges and figure out what everyone owns. So that's going to be, we're going to see probably a bunch of people thrown in jail, I imagine, and getting their property seized from them. That's what governments do. And they're probably going to make someone an example, some very prominent person. They're going to make him an example, and then everyone is going to be afraid to do the same thing that they did. That's how governments work. So I did this, I watched this interview of this lawyer and CPA. He's a certified public accountant, Andrew Gordon. And I just made some jot notes. I'm going to put all this in the description of the video. So I want to touch on a few things in this video here. Basically, what I said is every trade is a taxable event. Every purchase is a taxable event. That's the summary of the U.S. tax law. There's deductions, 20% deduction for LLCs, S-corps, partnerships, sole proprietors. If you're a trader, consultant, or perform personal services, then you're excluded from the deduction if you earn more than $157,000 a year. So a lot of people are going to be actually over that with cryptocurrencies, how much they make with it. Let's see what else. So if someone hacks you and steals your cryptocurrencies, or if you lose your hardware wallet, or your hard drive dies and with your private key on it, then in many cases you can write that off, but in other cases you can't write the full amount off. So, because I imagine a lot of people are just going to say to the IRS, oh, I lost that hardware wallet, even though it's buried in the backyard, and then try to get away from having to pay these fees and whatnot. So one thing you could do, like I believe I already said, is you can expatriate to one of these green countries. That might help you get away from these taxes. There could be a chance that the expatriation numbers start skyrocketing in the US just because no one wants to be a criminal and no one wants to have to deal with all the paperwork involved in tracking all their trades. Let's see, what else was there. Yeah, there's this Lite kind thing in the US where if you trade from one asset to another in anything, it doesn't, not cryptos, so that's considered a Lite kind and you get exemptions because of that. Now, it's a little bit gray whether cryptocurrencies fall into Lite kind, and you need an attorney to actually make the case for you on that. And it doesn't look like it would be a Lite kind if you, say, trade from a privacy coin to another privacy coin. Like if you go from Monero to Verge, that doesn't look like it would be a Lite kind event. It's very difficult to claim cryptocurrencies as Lite kind. So there's that to consider. Let's see. So every exchange that you make, you have to calculate the gain or the loss on them. That is just insane. I can't believe they are doing this. And the IRS, yeah, like I said, they can go after these exchanges and get them to give them their information, which is kind of scary. So remember, when you're holding your currencies on exchanges, that could happen. They've already done that they've made a precedent of that already, going after Coinbase. What else? So if you give your cryptos to someone else, it's considered an annual gift, and there you can do that for up to $15,000 a year without having to report it. So that's something interesting. Maybe your wife wants some of your cryptos, or your husband. So holding long term, if you're a hodler, then you're actually in the best case scenario. If you just buy your crypto, you hold it, then there's no taxes on that. It's only when you actually convert it to US dollars or swap to another coin. So there you go. And the obligation is not on the IRS. In the US tax laws, it's not on the IRS to figure out what you own. The obligation is on you to report it to them. And so if you don't report it to them, then there could be legal issues. So lots to consider there, guys. If you guys are day trading, I don't know how you're going to track how your accountant and you are going to manage all this. This is it's going to be mind-boggling. So expatriation is an option. There are some countries that seem to be better. Italy, Belarus, and Switzerland are very ideal looking. I'm going to add some more, like Belize. I know they don't tax income from outside of the country, so that might actually put them in the 5 category as well. Panama looks to be very good as well. I think they'll probably be around the 5 or the 4. Some other Latin American countries as well. I don't have any off the top of my head right now, but yeah, there's lots out there. So I hope this video was helpful to you guys. This spreadsheet is going to expand as I get more time. And what do you guys think about this? Did I miss some countries? Should I put some more countries on here? Which ones do you want me to add? And what are you guys' thoughts about the US regulations on this? What are you guys going to do about that? Are you guys, I mean, you're probably not going to tell me in the comments, but it's going to be interesting to see. I'm curious to see who's going to be the first fall boy on going to prison for skirting, for not telling them all their trades. So we'll see what happens here, guys. Don't go to jail. Protect your assets, and hope you guys like this video. Make sure you subscribe, share the video, and like it. When you guys like these videos, it always helps the channel out, helps it grow, and I really appreciate that when you guys do that. So take care, guys, and we'll see you guys next time.